All right, platoon, fall in. It is the Joe in the Jarhead Show. As ever, representing the United States Army, I am Joe. And representing the United States Marine Corps,
Jarhead!
ooh-ha-ha.
Ooh. Dude, just straight cut off my ooh-rah right there.
I like mine
Ooh-ha.
better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we should like combine it like a ooh-rah-ha. I don't know. Anyway.
For
It's
some
gonna
reason,
be-
that sounds a bit blasphemous to me.
It
but
kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I kind of like it. All right, headline highlights coming at you. So, you know, on this show, our staple's kind of been about having lights on the show. That's always been fun.
That's my
kinda
bad. Wow.
Who needs lights?
We are already off to a rough start.
If you're listening to the show, we decided we'll turn on our lights.
Our studio lights, yeah, we finally decided
Kind of a thing.
that we'd sit here while my producer turned them on for us because I was a doofus. All right, good times on the show.
So on the show, our staple has always been that we kind of wade through the stupid, right? So our platoon doesn't have to. We fight those
Yes.
battles. As veterans, we're pretty good at fighting those battles.
Yep.
So nobody else has to fight the
Correct.
mainstream media to get news. But today, or as we were getting ready for today's show, I almost didn't make it.
No?
Because I had to wade through the stupid of the Democratic debate to get these
Oh,
headlines.
dude.
Yeah, it was rough, brother.
Yeah,
It was comical, but it was rough.
I believe you.
So we're gonna talk about that.
Sweet.
We'll talk about El Chapo's son lighting up down there in Mexico.
Mexico, yep.
We're gonna talk about China's stupidity, and then we also got a Marine, and it's gonna be a rough situation. He was about to get deported. He's not. There's no answer there yet.
I will redeem that with the most BAMF soldier, I think, in the history of the Army, which is saying something because, he's a tanker. For those of you who out in the audience who don't know, I'm a prior infantryman, and infantrymen and tankers do not generally get along very well. They see us as stupid, ground-pounding grunts who, weren't smart enough to ride into battle, and we generally see them as the, fat, lazy, insubordinate pogues they are. Personnel other than grunts is pogue. That's lest I be.
That's interesting because I think you just described exactly how the Marines view the Army right there.
That's probably true.
Why there's so much banter on our show.
This is correct.
Okay, can we start off with history first?
Yes, and then I'm gonna tie that into a letter that was delivered yesterday,
Oh, let's do it.
or I guess a couple days ago,
By your president, our president, the president.
by actually his opponent to him, and it backfired horribly, and it's awesome. So this week in history, 1962, President John F. Kennedy made the Cuban Missile Crisis public.
How did he do that?
He made an announcement that, yes, there are Soviet nuclear missile silos or missile launch sites being built in Cuba. It actually started on the 15th
Okay.
of October 1962, and then it went public on the 22nd. This was back in the days before news was instant.
And when you say it started, that's when he first found out.
That's when he first found out that missile sites were being constructed, and he put a blockade around Cuba.
Okay. Because they were being built a long time before that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And there were a fleet of Cuban ships on the way which were believed to house the actual missiles that would be installed in those sites,
Okay.
which obviously we cannot allow because from Cuba it's 90 miles off the coast. Even medium-range missiles, which they think the sites were being built for, could hit everything all the way up to D.C.
That is no good.
Not acceptable.
Nope.
So he put this blockade out there, and then it just kept escalating and escalating and escalating because we kept monitoring the sites. And Khrushchev said, all right, we'll slow things down. That the ships that were coming in, they started to slow down or even turn around and go home. But then further spy plane footage revealed, no, the sites are still under construction. And then the next day, a U-2 spy plane was shot down over Cuba. The pilot was killed.
Well, one of our planes.
One of ours. We went to DEFCON 2, Defense Condition 2, which is the highest it has ever gone. DEFCON 5 is essentially status quo. Everything's fine. DEFCON 1 is nuclear missiles are flying.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so DEFCON 2 is the highest it's ever gone. That is the closest that has been made public. That is the closest the United States has ever come to nuclear war.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Right? Eventually, the Chinese military philosopher Sun Tzu, he talks about allowing your opponent a way out,
Okay.
offering them a golden bridge across which they can retreat. So what Kennedy did is to end the Cuban Missile Crisis, he agreed to dismantle nuclear missile sites in Turkey,
Oh, that's right.
which,
Okay.
believe it or not, back then was a key U.S. ally. Like a no-joke ally, not an Erdogan ally.
Erdogan.
Yeah, him, whatever.
So, technically, according to NATO, to the treaty, they still are.
They still are an ally of ours, but he wants his own nuclear weapons now.
And he's beating up our friends.
Truth.
Slaughtering them.
Right?
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Anyway, so to end the Cuban Missile Crisis, he offered, that concession to Soviet Premier Khrushchev, and it worked. Khrushchev took it, and the missiles were never installed in Cuba.
Okay. But did we actually pull out of Turkey?
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Yeah, we later dismantled the missile sites.
But it wasn't like the next day. I mean,
No, this was years down the road.
Yeah.
So the other day, the woman who would have been known as President Clinton.
Oh, don't do that. Little barf in my mouth.
I know, right? She tried to send a mocking letter to the actual president, President Trump, saying like, we found this in the archives, and it's a letter from JFK. It's a fake letter, but it's a letter from JFK to Khrushchev saying, no, don't be a jerk, just take your missiles out of Cuba, and I won't have to launch nuclear weapons. Love and kisses, JFK.
Okay.
And that's a mocking thing. It's mocking the letter that Trump sent to Erdogan, sorry, whatever you want to call him.
President Erdogan of Turkey.
Yeah,
Erdogan.
Saying to him like, you don't launch attacks against the Kurds. I won't wreck your economy. I'll call you later, Trump.
Okay, what's wrong with that letter?
It's kind of stupid, but whatever. It's Trump. I take it with a grain of salt. He's doing an okay job. But this letter that she sent immediately backfired. Like, found in the archives, this letter from JFK to Khrushchev that I made up. And people threw everything back in her face. Like, found in the archives, a picture of Newsweek, Madam President, her tweet, like, happy birthday to this future president of the United States, and it's her, like, 7th grade picture. It was hilarious,
That's awesome.
Mockery she received. Lady, let it go. You are not the president of the United States, and this whole sour grapes thing, while it has been typical of you for your entire political life, let it go. Seriously, let it go. Elsa was right.
That reminds me, she just tweeted out recently, just this past week, because the first all-women NASA spacewalk.
Yep.
That just happened this past week. So one of her tweets just said, I wrote a letter to NASA when I was a child asking to be part of the NASA space team. And they wrote back saying, well, we can't allow women to be a part of NASA.
Okay.
She tweeted that out, that she actually wrote a letter to NASA asking to be part of the NASA space team as a child. The problem is, by the time NASA was actually founded and was an actual thing, Hillary Clinton was in her 20s. Nice try, Hillary. I mean, there's just so much BS in that. I mean,
Like, why would you do that? Like, what is this compulsive need to lie?
I don't understand. Yeah.
That is unreal. Like, that doesn't even matter. There's no benefit to you lying.
Right? And she's trying to give a shout out to the NASA space team. You could have done that without lying.
Without
you dumb freaking broad.
returning the focus to yourself.
Oh my gosh. Well. All right.
Alrighty.
Let's stick with the Democrats.
Let's.
Because it's so much fun. So a week ago on October 15th, they had the 6th total Democratic debate. It was the 4th time that they only did one stage.
Yeah.
Because they had to do 2 stages there for a while.
They had like 10 candidates when they started, and they narrowed the field down to 12.
Yep. So it's still
it's
bad. There's more than that still in the ring, but they're only putting 12 on stage right now. So this was in Westerville, Ohio, and oh my gosh, poor Joe Biden was on the defense. I don't think they asked any questions about him that did not involve his son Hunter and the whole Ukraine nonsense.
Well, when you're a corrupt crap weasel, that kind of comes with the territory.
That's what you get, man. So, yeah, Hunter Biden with the whole Ukraine oil nonsense. That's what his fellow Democrats on stage were going at him too. But you deserve every jab you got.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Other highlights of the night, Elizabeth Warren, a.k.a. Pocahontas.
Yes.
Dubbed by President Trump. I love that.
Yes.
She claimed that she was an Indian.
Pocahontas? Because you have, like, somewhere the same mosquito that bit a Native American also bit you, and that's how much Native American DNA she has?
Yeah. She actually ran a test, and she is 1/1000th of an Indian.
Isn't it like 1/20/20th?
Oh, stop yourself. All right.
Hey, you're going to run for president, you're going to get the jokes.
So Elizabeth Warren, she claimed she was an Indian. Actually, to get in college, she marked Native American on the form. But her multi-trillion-dollar plan, Medicare for All, was getting lit up by her fellow Democrats on stage.
Yeah.
Going at her. Like, there's no way you're going to pay for this. And they were asking her right there on stage, what's your plan? How are you going to do it? Her only answer is tax the wealthy. Tax the wealthy.
Yeah. Unless there's more human planets out there that I don't know about that have a lot of rich people on them that are willing to pay taxes to us, there isn't that much money on the planet. Like, the entire net worth of planet Earth is not equal to what she wants to charge.
There's so much truth to that. And when you say tax, you know what? Just remove tax. Even if you took every penny that every billionaire had on the planet, it would not be enough. No. Like you said, there's just not enough money on the planet, period.
This plan would cost more than the sum total of all assets of every human being on this planet. She's out of her mind.
Yep. Same goes for you, Bernie Sanders. Yeah, healthcare for all. Just tax wealthy. It's not going to work.
No, but I expect that from Bernie. That dude
feeling the burn.
Yeah.
Well, he's feeling a heart attack lately.
Yeah. Oh.
Poor guy.
Oh, wow.
So he actually got beat up for that on stage because he's not the oldest. Joe Biden would have been the oldest, but they asked him, "Are you, physically fit to be running for president right now?"
Like,
poor fella.
Yeah, just better pick a young vice president.
There's more I want to talk about. Beto's buyback program for guns. This was great.
His confiscation?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the moderators asked the question, how are you going to do this if you say AR-15s and AK-47s can no longer be a thing in America? How are you going to get those back? And his answer was, we don't need to go door to door, with law enforcement getting those guns. I just expect American citizens to follow the law. We don't need to go door to door to tell them drugs are illegal. You can't have drugs. They just follow the law. That's why there's no illegal drugs in America, right? We have no drug addicts in America.
Yeah.
We just made it illegal.
We'll have a mandatory buyback of all the guns, so it'll stop mass shootings. And people will just give up their guns because they're law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
Except for the mass shooters you're trying to stop in the first place. That if it was that easy, let's just make murder illegal.
I mean, serious. Make all crime illegal.
Yes.
For crap's
sake.
Make
criminal things illegal, and it'll all stop, and then you don't have to take our guns.
My favorite part about this, though, is that he couldn't even wait 2 days before he reversed. Because now he is saying, yes, if we have to get to that point, then we're going to send law enforcement door to door to pick up your guns.
Yeah.
Classic Beto. I'm sorry, I mean Francis. Mr. Francis.
Robert Francis O'Rourke.
Yes, that guy. Okay, and last, but my favorite, Joe Biden. Because he says it is not okay for the president to have personal deals with the government, because he was blowing up about President Trump trying to have the G7 summit at his own hotel.
Yeah.
And he says his kids can't be doing similar things, but yet it's okay for your family to be doing deals with Ukrainian oil companies overseas. So he got asked about that, and this is the epitome of what happened all night, is there was no true answer. Beto, what's your answer for getting guns? I don't know.
Yeah, they
Elizabeth, what's your answer for your multi-trillion-dollar tax wealthy? Joe Biden, how come presidents can't do that, but you can as vice president? I did nothing wrong. That's what he said. Yeah. That's a quote. I did nothing wrong. Oh, wait, one more.
I am not a crook.
Oh, Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon.
Oh, I love it. Okay, one more. Tom Steyer, who actually made it on the stage tonight.
Really?
Yeah. Go him.
Okay.
So this dude is a billionaire above all billionaires. Filthy rich, this guy. He started his own commercials, and at the bottom of his commercials actually says paid for by Tom Steyer. He's on the whole impeachment commercial things.
Okay.
That's kind of him.
Sure.
So he's actually up on stage as a billionaire saying, billionaires in America is a bad thing. I agree with all of my compadres up here on stage that we should not have billionaires in America.
Okay. Well, then who's Pocahontas going to tax? I mean...
Right? What are you going to do with your money? I mean, if you don't want your billions of dollars, Joan and Jarhead are ready to take donations.
We are a seriously underfunded show. You're looking to cut a check, brother.
Right. I'm even willing to put funded by Tom Stayer down here if you're going to give me
I
some
will
of
do
your
that. I will do that.
It was rich. Very comical.
Oh,
Can't wait for the next one.
I can.
Had to wait for a lot of stupid. Had to wade through a lot of stupid to get all that.
Yeah, about that.
It was hard.
Shall we continue with the liberal mentality?
Oh, I guess.
Because things are going downhill in China pretty bad.
Oh, China.
Not China specifically. I mean, they are going downhill, but things are getting really rocky for our buddies in Hong Kong.
You are our buddies, too.
You are our buddies. Speaking of debates, Carrie Lam, the CEO of Hong Kong.
CEO, the president appointed by China?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hong Kong.
That's how the government works in China. Is the Communist Party appoints a leader for the districts, and they appointed Carrie Lam to be the overseer of Hong Kong. And most of the protests that are going on in Hong Kong right now are in response to her policies. Well, Beijing's policies that she is being tasked with enacting.
The mouthpiece for.
Yes. She actually got jeered off stage by her own legislatures.
Are you serious?
Yup.
Oh, that's what you get.
Oh, it was glorious. So they just mocked the crap out of her.
Good.
And they just shouted her down every time she talked. It was a wonderful thing.
Good riddance.
But there was some rioting, and a lot of people got hurt, and it was not
this like
good.
Inside, where they were doing?
Oh no, this is in a response to more Chinese, essentially legal crackdowns, like making more things illegal. So you're now, and I kind of wish this was a policy we would adopt in the United States. You're not allowed to cover your face in a public demonstration in China.
Okay, yeah, that should definitely be a thing here.
Because that's what Antifa uses to, sneak up on people and beat them with a lock and a sock and then, run away.
Concrete milkshakes.
Yeah, about that. So people, in response to the no mask policy, the no face covering policy, they showed up with the greatest thing I have ever seen. So
I'm worried. Is this appropriate for our show? First of all, okay.
Yes, it is.
All right.
So it is. The president of China is Xi Jinping.
Okay.
Right. So they superimposed his face over Winnie the Pooh and made a mask out of it.
No,
so
they didn't.
Winnie G Pooh. It is glorious. It is the coolest thing I have ever seen. I mean. They also had a bunch of masks there. The Joker was also really popular, with kind of like anarchistic look. But for sheer creativity in the face of opposition, Winnie G Pooh takes the cake. That is so great.
I wish I knew who that was. You'd get a Heroes Award from us.
Right, seriously. I will fly to Hong Kong myself.
Just to give you a high five.
Just to high five you.
That's awesome.
In response to that, police basically shut down Hong Kong. They moved in and... they were just, at the slightest provocation, they just shower people with tear gas. They brought in a truck with a water cannon attached. Except instead of spraying water, it sprayed this stinging blue stuff that turns people blue.
Yikes.
It's dyed, so you can tell who the protesters are later, because clearly if you were hit by the water cannon, you're a protester.
So they can go around and arrest people.
Except for the Hong Kong mosque, where dudes were just standing outside to try to prevent the looting from reaching the rioting from reaching the mosque. They were just standing outside guarding the entrance, and the truck just drove by and hosed them all. Thanks. But there was actual rioting and actual destruction of shops run by shops that catered mostly to mainlanders, mainland Chinese. So they're starting to ratchet it up.
Well, they kind of need to, because if changes aren't being made, then they need to refocus their attention.
Yeah.
So I am on board with the Hong Kong protests. What they're doing, I believe, is totally necessary.
I am 100% with you on that. The Chinese party cannot be defied. So they will do what it takes to shut down these protests. The difference now is this is not, 1987 or
Tiananmen Square.
Tiananmen Square. This is not Tiananmen Square.
They're trying to repeat that, though.
They are trying to repeat that. But the difference is this is the information age. There isn't going to be, immediately everyone's camera gets seized. There will be people live streaming this.
Yeah.
And, it will draw the condemnation of the world.
So if you're out there with the water cannon painting everybody a Smurf color, we're going to know about it.
Yep.
Got a bunch of Smurfs in handcuffs.
Yep.
Okay.
What do you got?
On to Mexico.
Okay.
El Chapo's son. You remember El Chapo? Recently he was deported to America where we put him in jail for life, which is pretty despicable, I think. He should have been shot dead and we should have been done with it.
It worked for Pablo Escobar, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Remember what,
2 to the chest, face gets the rest.
Remember what El Chapo means?
It's like shorty,
yes.
isn't it?
Shorty. I love it. That will never not be funny. Okay, so his son, Ovidio Guzman Lopez, he's actually, there's a big, depending on what article you want to read or which historian or which authority you want to talk to, who's leading the Sinaloa? Yeah, cartel now that El Chapo's in jail. Most people believe it is his 2 kids. He's probably got more kids than he even knows about. A lot of kids. But this one guy, so the Mexican police down there in Culiacan, Mexico, they had 36 people. I'm not making up that number. There are pictures to prove it. 36 cops showed up at this dude's house to arrest him. They got him out, took him to the local jail there. What do you want to call it? Their house there.
Okay.
And within hours, I'm not kidding, within hours, hundreds of gang members showed up at that place. And they were armed to the teeth. You would be jealous, Joe, what these guys had. So they had
hey, cocaine money buys some really cool guns.
And they had really cool guns. I saw these pictures. They were like brand new M249s.
Really?
Where'd you get that? That thing's cool.
From the Mexican army?
Yeah. So they showed up within hours, and yeah, they were in like 7-ton trucks, or picture like a dump truck, like brand new, and there's just dozens of these gang members just packed in there with RPGs, 249 machine guns, just lighting this place up. And what these guys did, they would put Hollywood movies to shame. They knew exactly what they were doing. They had a plan in place within hours because they had big trucks on fire, buses on fire, like blocking the roads so that no reinforcements could get there. And they're just showering pellets down on this place. And you look at the videos of these things, and it just breaks your heart. All these families, like, bailing out of their cars, like, ducking bullets. You can see, like, moms and dads, like, huddle over their kids, running with their kids in their arms, trying to escape these fires and this, rain of bullets coming down. But it gets worse. So this lasted for 4 hours. Only 8 people dead. I shouldn't say only 8. But so only 8 of the Mexican military died. There was over 20 people that were shot, so injured. And while this was happening, this happened at the Culiacan, I don't know what they call it there. It's not jail. It's a whole like government building that houses everything, right? 49 prisoners escaped while this happened. Probably all part of the same gang, right?
Yeah.
So they got out. But what the worst part about this is that the Mexican military, the police force down there, they actually gave up El Chapo's son. They said, "Oh my gosh, you're slaughtering us. We can't keep up. Here you go. Have him back." And what these gang members were also doing during this 4-hour shootout is they were kidnapping family members of the cops there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hostage situation gone.
Gosh,
ugly. Yeah, it was just. So they gave him up, and the president of Mexico, President Obrador, said yes, that was the right thing to do. Give in to their demands, because they apparently run that territory, and there's nothing they're going to do about it.
Good job, President.
Right. So
I'm just saying, like, we have an entire armored division stationed along the border. We have the 1st Armored Division stationed in Texas.
Yeah.
This is not a difficult thing.
Right. Yeah. The Sinaloa Cartel controls 17 of 31 states down in Mexico. And when I say control, that's what I mean. I mean the control of the state here that Culiacan was in.
Yep.
So that if this was to happen in any 17 one of those areas, it would be a similar response.
Yep.
They cannot match their manpower, their funds.
No.
So, and we talked about this before. You look at a map of Mexico and you color code it by gang. Sinaloa owns more of Mexico than Mexico does.
Yep, that makes sense.
So,
bastages.
To me, this is why America needs a wall. We have to have a defense in place because this kind of stuff does not stay in Mexico.
No, it bleeds over into us. That's what I'm saying. We have an armored division. This is clearly a threat to U.S. national security. You want to play guns? Okay.
Yeah.
We have 19 Moabs left in our arsenal.
Let's get rid of them before they expire, right?
I'm just saying, we used one to seismically collapse a cave complex on top of the Taliban. I figure Sinaloa headquarters is...
A couple of them, all 17 of them.
I'm good.
But we have to take a proactive stance. Because building a wall is not going to stop Sinaloa. Obviously. No. Look at their manpower, their funding. Jeez.
Right.
We've got to be proactive. Yes, we have to build the wall, but we've got to get proactive. We've got to send that 1st Armored Division down to their face.
You know. Oh, well.
Oh, well. No, millions of dollars worth of drugs come into the United States because of this gang alone. Not because of all the gangs
that's
down
not
south.
That's not like an annual report. That's like today. Probably $1 million, several $1 million will come worth of drugs will come in the United States because of the Sinaloa Cartel today.
Not being
it's
sarcastic.
a multi-billion-dollar a year industry.
Yep. El Chapo was bigger, twice the size than Pablo ever was.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
So, to me, this just proves the necessity of a wall and how we have to get proactive.
Correct.
Down south of the border.
Alrighty.
Okay. Oh, what you got now?
Do you want to cover your Marine first, and then I'll end on a positive note?
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay. Jose Benitez, he was a Marine. He's 38 years old. He served in the Marine Corps from 1999 to 2004. He was deployed to Iraq.
Okay.
He is not an American citizen, which is not uncommon. A lot of people come here and end up joining the military forces in a way to become a citizen.
Yeah, that's an easy path to citizenship.
Yep, which I applaud. I love this.
Absolutely. I know a bunch of people who did that, and they are some of the most rock-ribbed Americans you'll ever meet.
Yep, and this Benitez is one of them. He actually has a huge Statue of Liberty tattooed on his chest. I mean, hoorah, right? That's
I mean,
cool.
I'm not a tattoo guy, but, go big or go home.
Yeah. So he's been here since he was 3. He is a combat veteran. When he got back, like happens to a good chunk amount of people over there, he came back with a severe order of PTSD.
Yep.
He could not contain it, and you can't rely on the Veterans Affairs, the VA, to help you with that situation.
Nope.
They will actually make it worse. In my situation, that's what they did. So it was really bad for him. Now, I don't want to blame all of his problems on PTSD, but he was in a real bad situation. He was involved in drugs pretty heavily, not just using them, but trafficking.
Oh, come on, man.
Corporal, what do they call it? Offense, assault against his spouse. So he beat his wife so bad that it wasn't just a bruise, right? I couldn't find out what happened, whether it was a broken bone or an ailment or something. But serious damage had to happen, and he was put in prison for 8 years. So when this happens to illegals, when they get a rap sheet that big, that's what triggers ICE. All right, go get him. We can't afford to have him here. Deport him. So that's what happened to Jose Benitez here. He was actually on a plane back to El Salvador, where he's initially from, but the plane got stopped. They dumped him off in Arizona. He's still in a detention camp there because he's originally from California. So they're soliciting Governor Newsom right now, the governor of California, to pardon him for his crime so he doesn't get deported.
No, man.
So this is disgusting in all ways, right?
It
because
really is.
I will gladly say that I am pretty darn ignorant when it comes to the immigration process, because I don't understand why a combat veteran is getting deported in the first place, and I don't understand why illegal aliens have to commit a certain amount of crimes to be deported. I'm ignorant on how the whole judicial process works, but the wrong answer is to pardon this guy's crimes. Yes. I don't think he should be deported. I think he should be an American citizen, but don't pardon a guy who spent 8 years in prison because he beat his wife so bad.
Yeah.
Not the answer.
No, that is 100% not the answer.
So keep him here. If he commits more crimes, and put him in an American jail. He should be an American citizen. He deserves that.
Yeah. In my view, his service earned him that. But at the same time, dude, I understand that Marines are a proud bunch. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is no more honorable service out there than the United States Marine Corps in terms of maintaining a spotless reputation.
Hoorah.
I mean, it's in your guys' theme song, for crying out loud.
Nah.
But
True.
this guy spit in the face of that, dude. You're using your wife as a punching bag? That is the wrong answer. And there's such a thing as being too prideful. And if you're too prideful to go to someone for help with PTSD, it's a real thing. It is not a made-up condition. It is a real, legitimate problem.
You're dang right it is.
Combat is not something the human mind was conditioned to do and be okay afterwards. There are any number of organizations out there to help with that. And Jarhead's absolutely right. The VA is hot garbage when it comes to treating PTSD. I like to joke that they're the organization dedicated to making sure that war is the second worst experience of your life.
So true.
It really is, and I wish it wasn't. They're getting better, but they're not even like acceptable yet.
I don't want them to get better. I just want them to not exist. It would be better.
Yeah. I would like to see them as an organization that oversees, payment of benefits to veterans.
Exactly. They need to oversee that I can go to my own doctor to get treated for the wounds I received overseas.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Because
how
all they can offer is government doctors, which are not the best.
And it doesn't work out because the nearest one for us is 5 hours away.
Yeah. The nearest one for us. Well, when I first got out of the military and moved here, they tried to send me to Boise. Like, that's a 5-hour drive.
Yep.
The actual geographically closest one to us is Salt Lake.
Yep.
And that's only 3.5 hours away. So I'd have to drive 3.5 hours one way to see a doctor, to get an appointment.
Not okay.
No.
Yep.
What, are you out of your mind?
And it's a doctor who doesn't know you.
Doesn't know. I am a number on a sheet.
Yep, exactly. So I want to be able to go to my own family doctor.
Yep.
Who knows my issues.
That
and that's what I do.
ideal.
I've given up on the VA.
Yeah,
So,
I don't go to them anymore.
so I'm with you with Benitez. I don't, even if he tried to go to the VA, I don't know if he did. He wasn't getting the help he needs, obviously. And I'm not trying to justify his ways around his crimes, but I believe before those crimes even committed, he should have been an American citizen for his service period.
Correct. Absolutely.
But, I mean, if we're talking about that, if wishes were fishes, I think that anybody who beats their wife needs to be exiled to their own little tiny island and left.
I have no respect. If you're going to beat a woman, or if you're a woman and you're going to beat your husband, you have no place in society.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned. You know who does have a place in society?
Tell me who.
That would be one Ezra Mays.
Who's this guy?
He's a soldier.
Okay.
He's most of a soldier. He's a tanker. So, I mean,
Back to tankers
I'm
again.
trying, folks. I am trying, platoon. Because I really do respect the heck out of this guy. So he's 21 years old, and he's a tanker, M1 Abrams tanker, and he amputated his own leg to help his buddies.
And he cut off his own leg.
Tore it off, essentially.
What?
Yeah.
How? Why? How and why and what?
So they were in a tank. He and his buddies were a tank crew, right?
Okay.
And they were sleeping in their tank, which they do because death before dismount.
Is that a thing?
Yes, that is a
that's
thing with
awesome.
tankers. They will.
That's cool.
They will live aboard that vehicle. Like, I'm pretty sure that their blood can be measured in parts per million of JP8 tank fuel.
Jeez.
But they fell asleep, and I guess there was a hydraulic leak in the tank, which meant that they started accelerating downhill.
Oh, jeez.
And 72 tons of vehicle builds up a lot of speed.
Oh, boy.
And so the parking brake and the e-brake, like every mechanism to stop this tank, relies on hydraulics. Because just the pressure of your foot cannot stop, 72 tons.
Uh-huh.
That was not responding. So at that point, all these guys can do is brace for impact and hope for the best. And so they bounced a couple times and then slammed into a berm. By the time they hit, they were doing 90 in a tank.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like one of those baby rattles.
Yes, essentially. Mm-hmm. Well, he got thrown forward and his leg got caught in the turret gears that turn the turret of the tank.
Okay.
Like wedged in there and essentially sheared. He thought it was broken, and he's looking at his buddies. One of them is just bleeding profusely. One of them's unconscious. So he essentially wrenches himself free of this turret gear.
Rips his own leg off.
To go back and get the aid kit, the first aid kit that's in the rear of the turret.
He ripped his own leg off to go administer first aid to his buddies.
Correct.
Oh my heck. That is toughness I will never know.
Right. Like,
Gosh,
dude, you need to
dang.
try out for the infantry. I'm just saying.
Don't
Your
do
talents
that
are
to him.
wasted in a tank.
Oh man. Wow.
He's got infantry blood. They miscategorized him.
So did they all survive? Do you know?
Yeah.
They all good?
Yeah. There's
Jeez.
a picture of them all in the hospital.
That's awesome.
This guy is a rock star.
I could never imagine.
Nope.
I would love to see a movie about that.
Yeah.
Be a quick movie. I mean, tank rolling downhill. But still.
Even though you're a tanker, well done, brother. Seriously, well done.
What was his name?
Ezra Mays, Maes. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm wrong, comment below, and I will issue a retraction.
Ezra.
Ezra.
Hoorah. That is awesome.
That is really freaking cool.
You are
cool,
tougher
dude.
than I ever will be, dude. That is crazy.
Seriously.
Hoorah. Okay.
That's it. Yep.
That'll do it for our show. Good show.
Great show. And great audience. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Platoon dismissed.
Semper Fi.